What is going on, everyone? My name is Boit, and I'm back to talk just a little bit about Stormgate. I'm going to give you my impressions of what we see from the gameplay reveal that just kind of happened the other day, and tell you what kind of things are going to be similar to Age of Empires / Age of Mythology, whether or not an Age of Empires / Age of Mythology player would probably enjoy these, and also talk about potentially what we're going to do with Stormgate when it comes out. So without further ado, let's jump into this shenanigans. So it's a Frost Giant Studios game. For those of you who don't know, Frost Giant is a new gaming studio which has branched off from the from people who'd worked on StarCraft 2 or StarCraft 1. I'm not sure if it's both or if it's just StarCraft 2, but they are not, they don't have any relation with Blizzard. It's an independent company. It just has developers who worked on StarCraft 2. So you're going to have, whether or not it's going to be similar to StarCraft 2 or different in some ways remains to be seen. We're going to watch the gameplay now and see what we can come up with. All right. So first and foremost, we're going to take a look at this. So this is what an army looks like. Obviously, this is going to be a setup, a staged battle. This is almost as if like you're in a scenario editor and you've like put some units down on the battlefield. So it's not going to be looking like this in a regular fight. I don't think things will probably be a little bit more chaotic, but from what I see here at a glance, you can see that there are 4 different types of red units here, and they all kind of look very futuristic. This is going to be a futuristic-esque game. This is the humans' civilization, I think is what they said. I can't 100% remember, but basically you've got what seems to be mech, and you've got what seems to be kind of human units-esque stuff. So we'll see how this fight goes. Okay, first thing to notice is whatever these things are at the back, shoot these balls, which obviously will do a huge amount of damage, and we'll see how much damage they do if they actually connect. You can actually see it half HP'd some of those units. There's plenty of time to react to that, move outside of those big damages and stuff. You're going to have to micro quite a lot to win against these big siege things. But to me, before it tries to move on to the next thing, it doesn't look like these siege things do anything other than shoot those big balls. So this unit might, I don't see them shooting at all, apart from just those big balls. So I don't know how much those units cost, but if somebody has the micro to dodge all of these things and they don't do any damage, then they might not see a whole lot of play, but you never know. You've got these units here, which kind of look like medics. Oops, I did not mean to do that. Let me pop back here. These units here kind of look like medics trying to heal, or maybe they're not medics and they're like just for mech stuff, trying to do that there. And then you have these big Gatling gun kind of dudes at the front. On the other side of things, the blue guys here, you can see that we've got some melee dudes, kind of like pikemen, I guess, or swordsmen, and then you have your almost marine type dudes at the back shooting from a range. Again, I don't know what the there's also looks like there's some medic guys at the back. So medics don't just heal your mech guys, apparently they heal everything. But the question here is, how much does everything cost? You don't actually know. I imagine they're going to try and breach some kind of balance here, but in terms of micro, from the standpoint of a mech user, it kind of looks like there's not a lot of opportunity. Well, just look at it one more time here, and you see these units here, the red units, they aren't really moving, and they have to actually, it seems like they have to set themselves to start firing. So once you start firing, you don't want to move, which will mean that these kind of gun guys at the back are going to be a really, really good way of dealing with potentially these mech guys as opposed to dealing with these infantry guys. So maybe it makes some sense that these guys are going to be counter mech, and you're going to use maybe these guys at the front to be counter infantry, and then the infantry guys or the human guys are going to be counter mech to some degree, or counter mech, or whatever you want to call it. I don't know. But obviously there's going to be some more units here. There was one more unit here in the back that I didn't notice. This looks like some sort of a transport ship that's going to be flying. So just like in StarCraft 2, you're going to be able to see people going for raids on the economy to some degree by utilizing flying ships. Okay, so next one over here, we can see another little fight here. Again, you get this big ball thing coming over here. Don't see any attempts to dodge this, so I'm not sure exactly what sort of warning you get here, or if they wanted to show what that looks like, what it looks like to dodge those kind of big ball things there, but I'm sure it's going to be a thing. There's not much else going to be going on there. Oh, okay, we can actually see that this is not just not a transport unit, it's another kind of healing dude over here as well. There's just too much going on in this thing. Let's pop back and take another look at this this left side of the screen while this is all going on. To me, it doesn't look like there's a whole lot going on here in terms of actual player input. So obviously they're just showing what's going on, and they're not going to be attempting to make the maximum out of their units. But it just kind of looks like you can get away with, well, at least they're just auto-attacking at each other and seeing what's going to happen there. All right, so over on this point, you can see there's another unit there. Or this is the unit there anyway, so we'll just look at this. These are looking kind of like you have some cyber dogs. I think you get one of these as a scout from memory, but this unit here reminds me a lot of Zerg. So they're kind of combining a little bit of that Zerg element. And these dogs here, you get the shoot and scoot micro here. So that seems to be a thing. It seems like I don't go. So sometimes people shoot and scoot micro when it doesn't actually do anything. So for example, in Age of Mythology, when you're using your Toxotes, you can shoot and scoot micro, but it's not like it increases your survivability or damage output or anything like that. It's because your unit doesn't move until the animation is over. Whereas on in StarCraft 2, the Marine has a wind down animation. So during that wind down animation, you can move your Marine before he's ready to start firing again. That's why shoot and scoot micro is so good over there. So let's just take another look at this and actually see if we can learn whether or not that's actually a thing here or not. So I can't tell. I honestly can't tell what's happening there. Maybe if we take another look over at this side of things way back when, before it tries to move us over. So there is what looks to be it's not a wind down animation, but there is a kind of reload time here. And it looks to me like, do these guys shoot straight away once it's ready? No. You could see that he turned to fire there in the middle of that thing, and they weren't ready to fire. As opposed to, wait, maybe they did. I might have seen that. Hang on, let's go back a bit. This is me being silly. Hyper analyzing. Okay, one shot, one shot, one shot, one shot, one shot. That shot there didn't come out. So he did it a little bit too fast. See how he didn't shoot out of those last Marines there? I think that's because he didn't, I don't know if these are called Marines or whatever they're going to be called, but he went to shoot. The shot didn't come out. So this shoot and scoot micro thing is going to be a really, really big deal. And you're going to have to be super accurate in it. It's almost going to be as if you're familiar with the MMORPGs like League of Legends or Dota, you're going to have to be super accurate with your timings on the shoot and scoot micro to make sure you get that shot out and get the maximum amount of distance to walk in there. So that's going to be interesting there. All right, we got this thing at the top here, which I haven't looked at yet. So, okay, so huge. I don't know if that did what that was there. Hang on, let me take another look at that. So that's a blue unit shooting at the... Did that do damage to himself there? Yes, it did. He's actually destroyed himself there, trying to take out that red ship. as you see the drop. So there is going to be a drop ship. These guys going after that. That big ball of damage really doesn't do a whole lot to the units over there. So these mech things just aren't that good. Okay, so TLO, if you guys don't know, he's a pro StarCraft 2 player from way back when. He was playing StarCraft 2 when I played StarCraft 2 in like 2012, 2011.
It's my entire life, so it's been a real privilege.
All right, so here's the most interesting part for me about how you can kind of determine whether or not you're going to enjoy a game like this. So one of the big things that separates Age of Empires and the Age of Empires series from StarCraft or Warcraft is the complexity of the economy. This game here, you can see in one base, you're going to be allowed to have, or at peak efficiency, you're going to have 12 workers on this resource over here, which is this thing down the bottom here. And then you're going to have 4 workers over on this resource here, which is going to be this income here. If you take a look at the mini-map, the blue dots are expansion sites, it seems. So you can have, I'm trying to see exactly what is here. Now there's this kind of a dot here I don't see spawning again, but that could just be me. But it seems like if you go for an early expansion, you can only build 12 units or villages to really find an advantage there. So expanding, it depends on how the gather rates are. Expanding might be a little bit weak in this game. Furthermore, because there's only a few different locations on the map to actually gather resources from, defending against raids is going to be really, really easy. For example, one of the big things that we talk about in terms of fundamentals in Age of Mythology is the ability to identify weaknesses in your position and protect from them. Now, you can obviously, if you take a look at this mini map, there's all of this area around the outside where it seems like you can fly ships in. So you could very easily fly a ship in and move around the back here and then drop onto these workers here and kill these guys off pretty easily while your opponent's not paying attention. But if you know that this is a weakness, you can defend against this relatively easily. So the economy should be a fairly simple thing to manage in this game, and it should be very, very difficult to get a whole bunch of damage done onto a really, really good opponent. However, don't really know. So let's take a quick look at this.
Be one of the first people to try out Storm.
I might mute him. He's going to tell me stuff that obviously you guys can watch this video if you want. It looks like you can only throw one unit onto a building, just like in StarCraft 2. I'm not sure if that's the case. Haven't seen anyone try and put more than one building down. How much did they cost? Did it actually show that there when he put them down? So he sends this guy. Okay, so he must have spent it already. We come back here. Hang on. So he's got all these resources here, and he goes to build something, and the resources just keep going up. He builds another thing there. I'm confused as to how that works and what exactly that means. Maybe buildings are free, which would be a strange thing to say, but wait, he also gets random 50 of this. He wasn't mining from that, and he just randomly got 50 stuff. The resources go down. He's building something here. He spent resources on something at that point. I'm not sure what. It's kind of hard to tell what's actually going on in the UI, and when the resources actually go down. Let's take another look here and just see if we can't figure it out by looking at the thing. So he's at 200 resources. He drops down by 100. Nothing happens on the UI there. So I'm... That's probably because the observer or whatever. That's actually... Okay, so we're watching from an observer point of view here. So the resources that we're looking at might not actually even be this guy. They could be the other player as well, just as a random idea, just to really throw everyone off. But we can talk about the UI for a second here. You can see QWERT as the hotkeys, ASDFG as the hotkeys that are available here. I'm trying to figure out what they mean by what we're looking at. So Q obviously just means normal buildings. W means something to do with attack. E means also something to do with attack. R means upgrades. And T means double upgrades. That's my guess, but who knows? I don't know. But this is worrying that that's a thing in this game. It's very similar looking to the Age of Empires 4 forced hotkeys, which I know that a lot of people, especially the competitive players who like their hotkeys how they like them, are not going to be happy if that's how it's going to work. So units coming through, there's going to be the forest thing from Age of Empires 4 where you can't see into a forest, which I think is actually a good thing. I like that mechanic quite a bit. Here's something interesting. He's trying to kill units, and these warriors, these workers seem decently strong. So another thing with the raids is if these Marines here are kind of like the kind of really, really strong damage units, shooting against those workers there, taking a while to pick them off is a little bit strange. I'm not sure what's going on and why they're taking so long to get picked off. Maybe that's like a unique perk or something. And then he gets his big dudes out and they start shooting straight away, and he can just run away. And then these big boys just can't really do anything, and they can't even chase through the forest. So uses that nicely there. I don't know what I'm looking at here anymore. Take another look at that just for a hot second here. We're taking way too long on this video, but that's fine. So he's got a couple of things here. He's got all his workers over here. It looks like this is a refinery of some sort. I want to see if these workers do anything. It looks like they weren't dropping off, but I don't actually know. There's the chicken thing. This is straight out of Warcraft 3, I think, with a random dude on the map. This is a placeholder unit. They said they're going to change this. I don't know exactly what this means, but when Monk, the red player, kills that off, he gets 50 plus 50 something plus 0 something else. So I don't know what that plus 50 is, but he gets plus 50 of something, probably resources of some variety. There's a dash mechanic there for those units which take a while to start firing. Dropping these guys down, reset their animation there as well. So it doesn't seem like the most useful of things there. I mean, same too as the other guy doing some stuff here. So we come through and see what's happening at this point. Again, like these big dudes don't seem like that big. The shot there, you can see how easy that is to kind of dodge for these little mini units. Like he didn't actually micro it. He just kind of let his guys move forward. But say he saw that red circle, he can easily start doing like a split with those and just completely dodging everything. Even here, you can see the damage coming through. AoE damage does a lot of damage to all the units there, but they're still very healthy. So if you only get hit by if only one unit gets hit by that explosion, it's really not that big of a deal. You want to be mitigating as much as you can, I guess. As we see the guys coming through this expansion here with these guns, there's defensive buildings here as well. So I don't know how much these cost, but you can probably place a ton of these down. I don't know, like if this is anything like Age of Empires 4 where they didn't limit towers, I wouldn't be surprised to see no limit on these things. And like, how much damage do they do? They seem like they actually do a fair chunk of damage. So as a defensive outpost, it's probably not a bad idea. So that's a thing. All right. So in the end here, Stormgate, I want to say that my initial reactions to this are pretty good. I know that the economic aspect of things are not going to be what Age of Empires players really, really like. I love the idea of having multiple different places on the map where you can gather resources, where your units or economy is going to be open to get attacked. I love that idea, but that's not going to be in this game. It doesn't mean that it's not going to be a good game. I love the kind of easily identifiable different units on the map. I know exactly what each unit is doing straight away. I think that's done perfectly thus far, at least with what we've seen. And I think that it's going to be a very, very micro heavy game. But But I think that if you're going to be able to be efficient with your macro, you're still going to be able to produce a lot of units and have an advantage where that's coming from. I do wonder what the defenses are actually like. If you take a look at that final fight, once again, the defenses were built. You don't start with them. So early game cheese is probably going to be a thing in this game as well, which might be a frustrating thing to some, especially in the Age of Empires world where losing a game in 5 minutes can be pretty frustrating because you spend 5 minutes just building your base up and then you just get killed by somebody who just goes, I don't want to spend any time building my base up and kill my opponent. But I would say if you are an Age of Empires, Age Mythology fan, you should 100% give this game a go when it pops out. If you haven't signed up for the beta, I recommend signing up for the beta. We all know that the Age of Mythology pros are going to be the strongest in this game because that's just the way that it goes. So get into it. I've already signed up. Hopefully I can get a beta pass at some point. If you guys enjoyed this video, when you're allowed to put videos out on, if I can ever get in, I would happily produce some videos on this. So let me know if this is something you guys are interested in or not interested in. Leave a comment and I'll see you guys in the next one.